Hi, my name is Martine Wayne and I'm a student in the NUN London program. I grew up in a small seafront town called Marblehead, Massachusetts, just a short ride away from Boston. Growing up spending so much time in the city, it wasn't hard for me to choose London as my NUN destination. Although as I first discovered my opportunity to study in London, I did not know what to think. I was nervous to spend my first semester abroad as a freshman. However, after one short week, I realized that coming here was one of the best decisions I've ever made. I believe that it is important to see the world and to discover new cultures. Before my journey to London, I never really had the opportunity to travel outside the country, and I certainly wouldn't have called myself a global citizen then. Having the chance to not only travel to London, but to study in London has opened my eyes to a whole nother part of the world. And after being able to give back to this country by doing community service, I can begin to see myself as a global citizen. In the first few weeks as I was settling in, London was definitely a journey. Everything was new to me. Cars drove on the opposite sides of the road, I had to learn how to use the British pounds, and I had to decipher tons of thick British accents. Let's just say I had a lot to get used to. But being fully immersed in the culture, I soon learned all the ins and outs of being a Londoner. And there was so much for me to explore. The London Eye, Big Ben, Westminster Abbey, Buckingham Palace, and so many more culturally rich sites were right at my fingertips. Some things were hard for me to get used to. I had to teach myself to do my laundry, clean up after myself, grocery shop, get to class. I had to learn how to master the tube, and so many other tasks that I never really had to encounter at home. It was important for me to manage my time in order to stay on task. During my stay, I was able to give a little something back to the community through my service learning. Every Monday, I journeyed to Crystal Palace, where I was placed with a bully prevention organization called Beat Bullying. After an hour of traveling on both the tube and the bus, we arrived at the office. I was proud of myself for figuring out how to get there on my own, because getting there was no easy feat. By the end of my service learning, I could see myself as a more independent person. Beat Bullying's aim is to make a safer living environment free of bullying. Having worked as a peer mentor at my high school, I had some previous experience in creating safe environments, and I was ready for the challenge. Among many other tasks that I worked on at Beat Bullying, I spent a lot of time researching London's youth groups that we could assist with bully prevention. I really enjoyed this because I knew that my efforts were being well received. It didn't really matter to me how many people that I had an effect on. As long as I even helped out one person, I knew that I was making a difference in bettering their lives.
We're on our way to Beat Bullying. We're ready to make a difference. Here comes the sun.
I also worked with the Go London organization to clean up the overgrown and poorly kept Tower Hamlets Cemetery. The goal of this event was to make the cemetery a more beautiful place for its visitors. Upon arrival, I saw overgrown plants, dead brush, and unwanted leaves all over the cemetery. Throughout the day, I planted over 1,000 flower buds and cleared out endless amounts of dead brush throughout the cemetery. By the end of the day, I could see a huge improvement from what the cemetery looked like from before I arrived. After finishing, I felt very proud of the work I had done and was happy because I knew that the regular visitors would notice the difference and appreciate the cemetery's newfound beauty. After looking back to who I was before the trip, I feel very accomplished. I can safely say that my NUN London experience has changed who I am as a person and has shaped me into a mature global citizen. I am no longer just a citizen of Marblehead, or even America, but I'm a citizen of the world. My experience as a global citizen will not only help me as I continue my studies at Northeastern, but it will help me have a greater understanding of the world.